Here are the controls on a 2018 Honda Goldwing DCT. So I'm sitting in the driver's seat and I just want to show you what the controls will look like. In case you're looking at a 2018 Plus, they should look similar to this from 2018, 2019, and 2020. I'll start out the key. This is the key for the Goldwing now. We don't have a traditional key. This is the key. It just needs to be within vicinity of the bike. So we'll just set that aside for now. To start the bike, it's just this knob up here. We're going to turn that clockwise, and that's going to turn the bike on. So just one click like that. The bike powers up. Tach and speedometer jump up. Navigation system starting to initialize. So that just simply turned the system on. To start the bike now, over here on the right where we have this red button, I'm just going to press and release it one time. The bike will start up. Now I'm going to shut the bike back down so that we can make the rest of the video. So the bike starts up. Now I'll just shut the bike right back down. So taking a look at the controls, let's take a look on the left-hand control first off. So again, this is a DCT, but I had a handbrake added on. So you see what looks like a clutch lever. Really, this is just a rear handbrake. I had this tied into the rear brake just because I needed to have use a brake on my hand there. So we take a look here. We see the radio volume up and down, and then we have the windshield up and down. So the windshield, if I go up with this button, we'll see the windshield raise and lower. Really nice feature to be able to adjust that while you're driving. And then we've got controls here. These controls are going to help us to navigate through the nav system. One thing to watch for on this nav system, you've got to be at a stop in order to work the nav system. It won't let you do anything in the nav system unless you're at a complete stop. But these menus are just going to navigate through that, this home and return, go to your phone. The horn of the Goldwing, very loud horn, really impressive. Here we have the turn signals, right and left, and a source. Again, this is going to be for the controls on the nav system. So we take a look down here, though, we see this minus and this. The way the bike, this is for the reverse, and this has the Goldwing has a walking mode. You're not traditionally in your gears for forward and reverse when you're in walking mode. And the way you're going to put this bike into walking mode, you're going to be in neutral first for your for the shift, and in the center of the dash here, you'll see where it says neutral. And then once you're in neutral, then you would press this button one time. It would shift into walking mode. At that point, your control to go in walking mode, hit minus, and you're going to be going backward. And then over here on your finger, for your trigger finger, there would be a plus, and then that would take you walking mode forward. So when you do go into walking mode, you don't have any control of the throttle. You could give it the throttle all you want. It won't go. It won't rev any, and you're not really using your traditional forward gear when you're in walking mode forward. So use this minus, and then the trigger finger here. Use the trigger finger for your plus, and that'll take you forward, backward, nice and slow. We take a look at the other controls here in the center. You have this. This is really nice knob. It has a wheel here to spin through, and then this to zoom in. And you can see I'm moving myself on my GPS there as I use this wheel, and I zoom in and out with that wheel also. So that's just a nice feature. And then the center buttons and enter. And then over here we have a home and a return. So we really have some of the same buttons being repeated in different locations. And then for this select, if we take a good look on our dash right here, I'll page through those. So we see on this dash, we can see the air temperature. Let's take a look. We can see the fuel gauge. Let me see if I can get in there closer without the reflection. Okay, so then we got our fuel gauge there. We've got air, trip meter, and then I can navigate through these. Like I'm on trip meter there, and here on the steering wheel I can just go select, and then just navigate through those: range, air temperature, and you can do resets that you need to. We zoom over to the speedometer. We see we've got just your standard speedometer, and then we've got about a 7-inch monitor for the nav system. And it's more than just a nav system. If I go back here, let me just go to return. You can see we also can control we have an audio source there. We have, there we go, that's much better. We have audio source, navigation, phone, some vehicle settings. So you want to page through these. It's actually quite a learning process to figure all that stuff out. So let's just go ahead and go back to nav. and then let that be on. And then here on the tachometer, we got your regular tach, and then we see a neutral and a tour. The neutral is what gear I'm in, of course, and then this is an automatic, so as I just simply put it in drive and then give it gas, you'll see this neutral climbing all the way up through 1 through 7 for the gears, and then it just shifts right back down as you start to slow down. And if we take a look at our other lights, temperature, and then we've got our driver's seat there, and then over here on the center, I didn't show you, there's where you can turn on the driver's heat, handlebar heat, and fog lights there on the very bottom. This other control we see over here, what I'm sitting on is actually a motor trike, and so this is the control to adjust the air pressure in the rear of this suspension on this bike. Take a look on the right handlebar. We see the on and off button from the beginning, and then here we see neutral and drive. This being a DCT, you can be into drive and you don't do any shifting. You simply put it in drive and you give it gas and go. This is AM button. This is automatic or manual. Instead of being in just drive, you could go to manual, and when you're in manual, you would see it indicated on the dash, but when you're in manual, you can use your thumb shifter and your trigger finger shift here for going up and down through your gears. So once you do manual, you can say I want to have full control over my shifting, and there's still no clutch needed, you're just still doing your shifting here. So back to here, we see that these bottom controls, this is to turn on the cruise control, set and resume on the cruise control, and then this is my 4 ways. And if we take a look from the top, looking from the top, we see this mode button. This bike has different driving modes. So as I go through the modes, you're going to see we have economy. Let's see where you can see that here. Okay, economy, and then rain, and then touring mode, and then sport mode. So while you're driving, you can make this change, and then it'll stop blinking when it's made the change. So you easily just change this mode at any time. I found that with this bike, the tour seems to be the best mode for my riding style. You could the only other mode I would jump into occasionally is sport. And when you turn this thing over to sport mode, you notice the difference. There is no doubt that you're in sport mode, and it turns into a totally different bike. On this bike, I do have a dash cam that I usually keep on any vehicle that I'm driving. And then the mirrors, they're just all self-adjust. You don't make any adjustments through, there's not electric adjustments, so you're not making any adjustments there. And over here with this mirror, they do fold in if you ever needed to fold them in. We have here on our lower left, there is a cigarette lighter adapter, 12-volt accessory, and I just put a USB adapter in, and that's how I'm powering up to my dash cam. And over here on this side, we have the little compartment. I'll go ahead and pop that open. And this is just a little storage compartment that you could pretty much keep the key in, keep your wallet in, not a whole lot. Now this particular bike is the airbag model, so we lose a little bit of storage here because I think in other Goldwings you would have a storage compartment here. This being the airbag model, I lose that storage compartment, but I've got the safety of the airbag. If we take a look down here also, we have the fuel tank. To release the cap for this is inside this little storage compartment by my right knee. That pops open, cap is down in there, and you're just ready to fill up. One of the things that I kind of wish was different about the bike, with that big screen in the front, I wish that screen would also be the speedometer and tach or something, but right now it's only the nav or radio, and I'd like to see a digital speedometer. It would be really nice, but you can't have everything. On this bike, the handlebars, I do have helibar risers on it, so what that does, it brings the handles in more, so it makes it more comfortable, more natural while you're driving. But other than that, it's there's not much different here than what you'd see on your regular Goldwing. But I hope this has given you a view of what to expect on a 2018 Plus Goldwing for the controls. Not really an explanation of what everything does, but just let you see what options are going to be at your fingertips. If you have any questions, leave something posted below and I'll help you out.